Hey everybody, let me just make sure I have the settings just right because I never go live and don't mind my ceiling, okay? We are in Copper's House is Never Finished. Okay, I'm live. Yes. Okay. I have a message to share. As the great leaders of this world once spoke words of wisdom, now I share with you words of wisdoms from above, not above your status, at your employment, business, religious leaders of any background that we have been taught from, centuries passing on to generations of all ethics background, nor does it matter your financial status, does not matter if you're poor, middle class, or rich, white, black, tan, yellow, two-tone. These words are like musical notes, have a special meaning to all. They are words that are started off in individual letters, put together in a sequence of words that turn into sentences, like a perfect song lyric or movie script that comes together to become a complete message for not just the Americans, but all countries, even the ones that are living off the grid. These words are spoken to help bring our world together as one, uno, eins, and etc. They are not to be twisted or but plainly put for all to understand. From the youngest to the oldest, to the least educated, to the doctrines attained in all degrees and professions. Dr. Martin Luther King once said, I had a dream that all men were created equal. I too had a dream for all to hear. But unlike Martin Luther King, who's in fact a king of his time, had a dream. My dream was a dream that was filled with tears and many sobbing. Tears fell from the great man, who was also a king of his time, and still is, and forever will be. Yet this great man, like most great men, are man enough to show their true, raw feelings. And I was in the midst of my dream as I was standing there in front of 3 different generations of women. Sitting before me was the 3, and I was shedding the tears for this man. They asked, why are you crying? They all asked me at the same time. I quickly replied, I'm not crying, but Jesus is. The greatest king of all time who sacrificed himself for the love of his sister and brother. As I wish I could give you a glimpse of the pain I felt of his. It would possibly be a waste of God's breath, yet one should not ignore another's pain. Yet truly feel with your own heart the other hearts who have speaks to them. Jesus said, that's not enough people that know him yet. This dream occurred approximately 4 to 5 years ago. I have shared it on YouTube as well in books that I end up deleting. For the purpose of this book was to be a great awakening for all mankind. And like most different cultures use man, remember women came from man. So it is not for your sexuality. We must question everything and everyone, which in return is 2 and the same. Let me go a little deeper in the rabbit hole and remind all that we entered this world not even by flesh, but by the Spirit, entering into our mother's womb by God's breath, him sending us into the atmosphere to even enter our biological mother's inside, the womb. The book of Thomas, a lost book of the Bible that wasn't voted in to be entered into history. They are the secret teachings of Jesus, written by Thomas. In one part, Jesus spoke in many parables, but this is a reminder of how deep all things and words promise come back to. How marvels of marvels it would be that the soul is relying on the flesh, but how marvels of marvels to flesh is dependent on the soul. Meaning, before we ever come into being, we were a soul. We only enter this world with nothing, and yet they say we leave with nothing. But that is not the case. We enter this world with God's breath, God's love, with all breath is made. And our part of the air chemical makeup is neon helium, a type of gas that is layman's terms a small electronical discharge. With electronical charges, we are made of ions. After 33 years of serving my fellow mankind with tooth pain along the side of many great dentists, I worked hard for. So I do not stand here today to share the knowledge these great dentists have taught of diagnosing the decay of a tooth. Stay with me, folks. Today I am exposing the decay that is spreading among us as souls. A soul is very much like a tooth, which born with 32, including wisdom teeth. Hey, some are smarter than others. But in all seriousness, tooth decay starts interproximally. In most cases, a small pit and fissure. But as you dibble more into the fine sugars of this world, it keeps growing, and before long it has spread to the surrounding teeth. Some with the soul, as we dip into the pleasures of this world, we tend to enjoy the pleasures without seeing internally the decay that spreads. In our souls, if the darkness of the radiograph, aka X-ray, should show the decay of one's tooth, it shows the decay of one's tooth and soul. That is the whole tooth and nothing but the tooth. I really mean truths. If we allow pleasures that are dark to enter our lives, then our inner light dulls a little more, and in the radiograph terms, radiolucent, loosey-goosey. The beam goes right through, but if you hold firm to your roots, nothing can pass through your light. The sound waves of our voices permits are like radio waves over a broadcast system that can be turned up or down, brighter or darker, of one's internal light source, which, like the old child song, the hip bones connected to the, fill it in, same goes with our souls, are all connected to a higher power, the Holy Spirit, a power that created and protects us at all times, even whole passing through it. The wave light, the green pastures, the neon green in the sky, that transforms into a beautiful rainbows of every shade. As you listen today, regardless of the shade of your pigment, which we are little specks of color material that is completely insoluble of water, the living water. Pigment is a color matter of substance whose presence in the tissues or cells of animals or plants, even in us humans. So it's true, we are plant-based. We are all matter. In other words, matter is a particle, God's particle, and other gods have been formed by one main matter. God created man all the same. One again, from a woman to man. And in the end, we are just particles of matter, but in life's ups and downs. Some of our God's particles are inner light, leaves like a star in the binary system, drifts off and crashes like a meteor. To prevent future meteors from hitting our planets, there is more life on Earth that meets the eye of all of us. We must adjust our inner settings with not more kilovolts. You guys are already welcome here. See? Gravity. Okay. More kilovolts of kbp, which I like to define as a kilosol, or king up for kVp. There has been two souls that walk this earth that God found forever in Enoch favor. God a man, enjoyed so much he never faced death. Another lost book of our Bible. Then the other was Jesus, the one who witnessed firsthand and by men's hands negative ions of this world that once bright for God's breath of life put us into a substance of matter. Before the being you came into matter. As a small infant, even the greenest ones, we are all fascinated about. 1 second, please. Okay. Like Captain Kirk and Captain Spark would say, beam me up, Scotty. We all must ask the Holy Spirit to beam up by our KVPs. King me up. For there we are all kings walking this earth. And where there are kings, there are queens. They say, behind every great man is a great woman, with Mary, Mother of God, who needs no recognition, and honoring and caring for her family of all descending. She's like any other mother, works behind the scenes, sometimes being noticed of foods and sometimes not being noticed of foods prepared, clothes washed, times removing the trash out of a home. Now, a woman in the last days will be strong spiritually like man, but vice versa. Some great men are like women. For elders in nursing homes and hospitals as nurses, not all, but I'm just saying, go with it, or even stay-at-home moms, which are true stay-at-home dads, while others call, and I don't know about the proper terminology, we'll say same-sex, but they call them gay, which in old terms, gay, hang on a second, hold that thought before you get mad, means happy. With this being said, God's message is to have more joy in your life. So your inner light can be bright as you allow yourself to be happy. The light from your eyes grows brighter, and your smile uses less muscles to smile than frowns. It's more becoming unto others, and like a sneeze, you are blessed. By blessing others, with showing another your inner light, your inner joy. That is very truly contagious. Yet after the pandemic finally ends, for we are still in the midst of it, can remove our masks and spread like a wildfire the passions of Christ within us. The radio listen, love for all. To see radiopaque love of all, because radiopaque is stopped. Shows up brighter. A love so deep it goes beyond this flesh, this world. Yet many don't understand or are taught this. For the parables written are like puzzle messages. Must study to understand, to embrace one another with love. For Jesus died for us, and he loved us more. Then, himself, as an example of a great man, Donald J. Trump took no pay while in office for his love for his great country, who others seen him in different countries as a bright source of light, a light I captured in my art that is displayed on social media. The same light Michael Jackson displayed in my art and Elvis. Now, some will say Trump did this or Michael accused of this. Even Elvis had an addiction. But who can't stand in front with the, flaws at all? Cast the first stone is what I'm saying. Get it out there. Okay, hang on one second. I say to you at all, including myself, which is why we are all can truly relate to one another. For we all live by the flesh, but not by the soul. That connects you to the higher power, the higher source. If you're awakened, you know you are connected. So I am a beam me up light source from our thoughts and brains, the radio waves. The voltage invokes God's particles. Can always come to a higher power by turning up your inner lantern, your inner light of the earth. Rise up into your inner power, for each has one king and one queen, regardless of your outer being, inner being, as I have seen both male and females past lives have carried over, including all living matters, cats, dogs, even Ellen DeGeneres' gorillas, were once a soul, always a soul, for God's breath life into all. And some past souls have woken up, for there are 3 in 1 in all. Besides the Holy Spirit of Christ lives in you, so does your past lives. And that each matter can weigh more than the other. So does the power source. If you might be stronger in one, but in the time to find, to believe, and measure out so you don't short circuit. Blow that fuse within. Or worse yet, the power supply shuts off your power and no transmitting is left. AKA the rapture, the circuit of all time. When you realize your own inventory of your inner worth, just higher power were built like the Watt tools, then you will realize you can have the riches of this earth. But will it be too late? When you look around and see no one left standing beside you, or how truly the world is dirty, besides the litter, like fans at a game going wild because their team lost. They only lost that game of a season. What about the next 2? They could win. Yet the remembrance of one's behavior might be forgiven, but not forgotten. For death is not death if you live in the light. Well, great news. Until the last breath, you can turn down your kilovolts, turn up your kVps by being a matter that produces good light waves. And at times you might be tested to work out and exercise the most important matter, muscle of your soul's matter. Do not know that God is with you even during the spiritual world. For what is bound on earth is bound in heavens, and therefore he sees all, right there, next to him. What would you do then when you meet your spiritual self while in the soul's journey? I can only speak on my behalf. I chose to apologize, not to just the universe, but to the other half of me. Living in the God's particle resign, so I pray for my spirit, for the sins of my flesh that I committed, for in the darkened, hey, I'm almost 50, way, so at times, I too felt like dying. I worked hard on my exercise of my soul and spirit, instead of more on my temple. Then and where more focus on looks and less on how they look within. To have another is to yourself, love yourself for as you are on to you. You are waves, a negative, I am so sorry, I can't read my own handwriting. Anybody ever had that happen? I'm having that happen right now. Okay, to the divine universe and dimming out others' lights. Why on social media we see so much belittling of another's name? But in the end, is it truly your name you are dimming? We all have free will, yet some control it. Free will to live by the flesh and soul. Even your spirit, also 3 in 1. When you focus on the speck of your brother's eye, then how can you remove it from your eye? Jealousy. Like prisoners, we are pioneer women. I happen to love pioneer women cooking. Anyway, can cook a great dish, but with adding the most important seasoning of all, love for all. No matter your background or anything that makes you stand out among others. Some call it weird. I call it chicken soup for the soul. Good book. A broth so warm it brightens your inner KVP light. King up, queen up. We can no longer expose others, but raise them up in a higher temperature until they are fully boiling. Then simmer back down, so two can live as one. Follow thy commandments, but know each one is forgiven. No sin is greater than the other. If you say the words out loud to the God above, and man should find heaven, to already amongst us Upthe, I don't know. I am there. Oh, split the wood, I am there. I'm in the rock. I am there. Love and be loved. For what has not entered into man's heart is empathy. Yet you had it all along. For God gives you life, and we are all made in the image of God. From within, remove the decay, and over time, the moments of jealousy, hate, sexual perversion, beliefs, truly this is harder than yoga, keeping it in balance of one's life. For all matter was forgiven no day of the cross, on the day of the cross, including the fallen angels that glow green sometimes with jealousy and change them to the light from within. For we are all blue veins and we bleed red. So give it to the oxygen of God's breath. Almost done. God's breath into each of us. In a time to rise up and be your greatest self, like Joel Osteen once said and written in his book. If God was the sun, he is the sun of the living universe. And do we not have holes in the sun from crucifixion? Even the sun in the sky or its sky, the limits of the heavens. Realms, and like Belinda Carlisle lyrics, heaven is a place on earth. And Madonna would say, just like a prayer. Papa don't preach. I'm keeping my baby. Timeless. were all meant for today. Lyrics that were written and movies that were written for this very moment in time. Like the song, the melody, Somewhere in Time. So get into the groove, for you got to prove. You can jump in for the love, Pointer Sisters. Unity. There is no mountain too high to climb, for giants can be destroyed. The giants within us, our choices, are not forced by any devil, but your dark matter. Then you will see how beautiful you really are, not by your outer, but your inner light. As Rihanna, shine bright like a diamond, but I love Beyonce too. Like a diamond, you are just that. The sun will come and transform you like, hang on a second. Like Orphan Annie. The sun will come out tomorrow. Okay, I won't keep singing. For I too once was an orphan that healed within. What others try to blow out, I kept it lit by forgiveness of such crimes to my temple. But if you know a thief is coming to protect your space, what if the thief is yourself for not forgiven? Where you find the beginning is where you find the end. Full circle moments, like the Lion King. Of all carrying your crosses to salvation, be crowned the king and queen that you already are. No longer then will you love and live in poverty, but riches of knowledge. Forgive past generations and speak your sound waves to them so that we can live on and they can live on as we are walking dead down here. And they are the living, walking in the realms of the Holy Spirit. The recycling must come to an end, and one day you will be rejoined with your spirit, the true twin flame of your life, which is in the end all of us. Yet we must honor We must honor thy focus. If ever broken, it is broken in the spiritual world regardless of people. So hold true to thy commandments that Moses brought down to earth. An eye for an eye. Listen to this. An eye for an eye also, if you destroy or lust, destroying your very spirit in heaven. The roots of another, which is connected to God, and then sudden destruction comes for glory. Be the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. It was in the beginning, and it shall be in the end. Guys, we are all truly connected together by the Holy Spirit, the holy power of the universe. There are other gods out there, but because of the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, who died on the cross for everybody's sin, we have the opportunity to go to him and tell him how much we love him. See, we got these socks the other day, Make America Great Again. Make all God's angels. You know, you can change the lyrics, you can change movie scriptures and update them. You can hold on to the past, like Gone with the Wind. we just want to get rid of it. We want to get rid of all these statues. But instead of getting rid of these other statues, join them with the positivity so we have a balanced scale. Right here, I have the 10 Commandments. I have broken quite a bit of these, my old self. But see, that's where you have to do it while you're living and breathing on earth. So your light does not dim out. It does not matter what country you come from, what your background is. You are a king and a queen already. But you're beating yourself up in this world. And this is an old video, America in Crisis. We see everything about every country. How about heaven's in crisis? Because he needs more people to turn to him. And with that being said, we will see a change in the atmosphere and in Mother Earth, who controls the weather. Now, I can take this candle and I can blow out your light. But I'm not going to do that, okay? My light. And then I can relight it again and again. But eventually with this candle, I'll run out of wick or I'll run out of wax. Until that very last time I can't light this candle. You get it? Parable, God's breath, until your last breath from God. See, everything we get, even me getting this candle, is a gift from God. He gave me the means to buy it. God provides everything if we're willing to believe it. Now, sure, the government can help out. A friend can help out. But who gives it to them? But God himself. If we were like this little tooth game, you see God's particle, the water, and we're just all floating around. And we got a narrow spot to get on. So I would like to take this time and bless all that want to go before the Lord and just seek him, and you should find him. So with 5G belief and Jesus Christ belief, by blessing this, you're being blessed.
Power on.
It's time to power on your inner light and stay bright and do not let anyone take it. God bless you all. I have a playlist you can use for clairvoyancy of movies and shows and just see how the world is. From my heart to yours, I love you and may God be with you.